Okay, so we're recording again. In my last video, before I was so rudely interrupted, I was trying to explain the American that I am, that we all copper colored people are. We are the Aboriginal owners of this North American continent. And in order to take it back, there is no hard work to be done. All we have to do is claim it because it is ours. It's our birthright. It's our inherent estate. Inherent estate, if I'm saying that correctly. Inherent ancestral estate. We have been lied to about who we are, and it's time for us to stand up and be who we are. Reclaim who we are. There's no violence to be done. There's none of that to be done. The paperwork has been laid out for us. All we have to do is utilize it, and that's it. We don't have to prove anything to anybody because our identity was stolen. So therefore, the ones who stole our identity, changed our identity, hid our identity, are the ones who has to do the proof. It is their responsibility to prove that we are actually the people they call us to be, which is totally impossible. Totally impossible. We were never able to be United States citizens or citizens of the United States because theirs is a union. Theirs are colonies that our ancestors only allowed them 10 square miles of every state that they call a state. 10 square miles. Washington, D.C., 10 square miles. If you do a little research, you'll find out that the Civil War had nothing whatsoever to do with what they said it had to do with. It was all about them refusing to pay our ancestors their wages that they agreed upon. That's it. And they're still denying that to this day. Still to this day. So it's time for us to stand up, stand on our rights, our unalienable, inalienable rights. They're ours. They belong to us. The Constitution for the United States was written to be laws of conduct for the public servant, plain and simple. Those are the bylaws for the public servant, as well as the United States commercial codes and any other code. Those are bylaws for their conduct. We must get back to the reality that they are public servants. They serve the public. They took an oath to uphold and protect that Constitution. There are two constitutions: the Constitution for the United States, the Constitution of the United States. The Iroquois wrote the Constitution for the United States. That's our people. It might not be your tribe, but it's still the Aboriginal copper-colored races found here by the European. I'm just saying. It's time for us to educate ourselves, get back to who our ancestors are, and stand on it. There's no need to be angry. There's no need to fight. There's no need to go crazy. None of that is needed, necessary, or what's the word I'm looking for? Required. It's not. It's senseless. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, the paperwork has been laid out for us. They documented everything, baby. They documented everything. So all we have to do is stand on it. That's it. That's it. And what's the word I'm looking for? Stand on it and organize ourselves to be self-governed and do what we need to do. Our ancestors, our elders, we had so-called black, I hate that word because it removes us from our birthright, our land, our North American soil. We had Black Wall Street. We had our own thing going on. And if the ancestors did it, if the elders did it, baby, we can do it. It's not difficult. The only thing that's difficult is ourselves, motivating ourselves and putting ourselves in motion. We do not have to be a part. We were never meant to be a part of anything that these people have going on. The United States is its own thing, its own entity, and America is its own entity. We need to wake up America, bring it up out of that coma like sleep, and make it great again. I'm going to use Trump's words. Make it ours, because it belongs to us. No need to fight about it. No need to get angry about it. It's just what it is. It's ours. It's time for us to reclaim it. Take it back. Wake it up. Utilize it. Give it some energy. Positive energy. It ain't gonna go nowhere on negative energy. Negative energy is slow and dragging and not getting anything done. Energy. No, we want positive energy. We need to put our thinking caps on. We need to bring back our own I don't want to say politics, because we did have politics. Abraham Lincoln used our Congress when their Congress walked out, send die without day, to reconvene in the 1800s. Abraham, he borrowed ours. He asked ours if they would help, and they became the first Congress of the United States. But baby, trust and believe, they were the only Congress of America. Okay. You come from greatness, baby. You come from greatness, and you need to know that. You need to know that. My people are waking up, and I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that I am living to witness a prophecy fulfilled. And that means, for the word fulfill means to satisfy or to bring into actuality. I am grateful that I am living to see it. And if you don't know what I'm referring to to Exodus 15:13. Look it up, read it for yourself. Make yourself aware of it. They don't teach that in church. They don't teach Deuteronomy 15. Deuteronomy 15. No, wait a minute. Deuteronomy 18. No, wait a minute. See, when it's time for me to spit some stuff, I forget what it. Is it Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68? I want to say yes. That's it. Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. And I want to also say that the land that is spoken of in the Bible that is supposed to be strange, we will be in a strange land that our fathers or didn't know, has never heard of, or doesn't know of. They're not speaking of the actual land. They're speaking of the stranger on the land. Because all land, we are the aboriginals of all land. All land. They found that out numerous times. We are the aboriginal of all land. So they're not actually speaking of the land itself, the soil. They're speaking of the stranger on the soil. The United States would be a stranger on American soil. That's what they're speaking of. And we need to know that. You know, we really need to know that. That book was written by our ancestors. It was written for us to come up out of a situation that they knew we would be in for quite some time. So they gave us all of the tools that we would need to fix ourselves and to know why we were broken. So I'm not going to say that we were cursed. I'm not going to say that we were blessed, because that's what blessed actually means, to be cursed. or blessed, ed in past tense terms. It means it's defined as worthless or cursed. But yeah, our ancestors left us footprints, and it's up to us to follow those footprints. You know, we have to know who we are, and we have to know where we came from, and it wasn't Africa. I'm gonna ask you this: have your elders, your grandparents, ever told you any stories about Africa? I mean, that's an honest question. You don't have to answer me, answer yourself. My elders told me stories about here. Told me stories about us being Aniyunwiya. I ain't want to hear them at the time when I was little because I just didn't have time. You know how kids are. We ain't got time. We want to do other things. We ain't got time to sit still and listen to stories. And I'm grateful that I was told these stories. I hear them today. I didn't want to hear them yesterday, but I hear them today, and I am very grateful. Very grateful. You know, everybody think you got to prove something to somebody that stole our identity. We American Indian, and then when you want to say you American Indian, you scared that you have to prove it to somebody. Baby, the people that you think you have to prove it to already know who you are. They're the ones who stole your identity, sweetie. They're the ones who told you that you were niggers, colored, black, Afro-American, African American. When all along, you've been American Indian. Now, if you want to know what tribe you came from, now that's where the research and the digging is going to come into play. But you don't have to dig and research to prove it to somebody. You just have to dig and research for you to know, for your own personal information. But you don't have to prove it to nobody because the ones that you think you have to prove it to are the ones who stole it. I'm just saying. I got my genealogy on my certificate of live birth. It says that my parents, my mom and my dad, their race was Negro. In a dictionary based on historical principles, American Indian is defined as a Negro. I'm telling you, they did all the paperwork for you, baby. You do not have to go through all of those changes. But if you want to know what actual tribe you came from, and again, I'm grateful for my great grandmother. She told me, Aniyunwi, we are Aniyunwiya. And I couldn't remember the word until I heard it, and then I just jumped and went crazy. Everybody looking at me like I'm what? What is wrong with her? I'm like, that's that word, that's that word. But anyway, you don't have to prove anything to anybody, baby. They have the proof. Everybody around you knows who you are except for you. And you are beautiful. You came from greatness, baby. You came from greatness. Do some research. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for years. When I started researching and reading and trying to find and looking and locating information, we didn't have the information highway known as the internet. I had to do books. Books. I spent a lot of time in a bookstore on 55th and Superior called Timbuktu. A lot of time in there. Reading and researching. Yes. So, know who you are, baby. Know who you are. And if you could get your hands, well, I don't know how old you are, but you can get your hands on your certificate of live birth. That's what you want. Your certificate of live birth. It will have your parents' race on it. If it doesn't, you ask them for that information. You ask them for the certificate of live birth with all of the information about you and your parents. This American soil belongs to us, baby. We don't have to fight about it. Ain't no need to fight because they already know. They already know they're not going to give us no problem. They're not going to give us nothing. We just separate ourselves. Do the great divide. Come up out of Babylon the Great, baby London. Because she about to fall, baby. I'm telling you, y'all, we watching prophecy come to fruition right now. I am living, seeing prophecy fulfilled. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. Yep, baby London falling, baby, and all who drank from her cup. This is a worldwide thing. Look around. Look around. And this, if you want to know where this is written that I'm speaking of, just Google it. Babylon the Great is falling. I promise you, all the Bible verses and all the Bibles will come up and tell you, will show you where it is. That is, we are watching prophecy being fulfilled, and no one can stop it. They could take this video off of YouTube, but I promise you, on everything, it's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen, and it ain't got nothing to do with hatred or nothing else. It's truth and fact. Truth and fact. You reap what you sow. I'm just saying. But I think I'm going to cut this video short here, because I started all of this just to do a test so that I could put it on YouTube, see how to put it on YouTube. I'm learning. This is a learning experience. But I'm grateful that I had the time to talk a little bit, and I'm going to be talking some more. I'm going to be talking some more, baby, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a whole lot. So I look forward to speaking to you again soon. You guys have a beautiful evening and day and afternoon. Great sunrise.